how life has changed
How life has changed.
drastically. I
You
mean,
said
it's stopped. Just without having. I mean, a part of our life is gone. It's missing. It's never coming back. Just and really, I don't even know yet. I'm sure there's a lot of emotions I haven't gone through. I'm not there yet.
they say that there's these 5 stages. Um, you know, grief, anger, denial. I forget one of them, and finally acceptance. Are you disbelief? Are you still in the disbelief at this point?
I really am. It's hard to believe. Yes. I mean, I do get upset, and I go from being very upset to very angry, but it's just still hard. It's hard to believe.
When, because you and I have talked a couple of times over the past 4 or 5 days. Um, I know some things that some people don't. That's neither here. For most of that's neither here nor there at this point. But you were when she was supposed to have been home that Saturday. How scared were you?
I just knew. I knew my daughter, she's on time for curfew when she was younger. I know she's 22 now, and she's an adult, but even now, she tells me she's going to be home. She's home. She calls. If she's not home, she calls daily to check in. And I mean, as a mother, I knew. I knew something was wrong, and I knew something was not right.
Fast forward a couple of hours when you found out what. I know these are not easy,
Okay.
but when you found out, when you knew what had happened, what how, is that when life stopped at that point?
Really, it did. I think it did for all of us. It just, it was shocking. And still, like I said, it's hard to believe, but yes, it did. I mean, I feel like my heart has been ripped out and broken into a million pieces, and there's no way possible to repair it. At this point, that's the way I feel.
I've never been where you sit. Hopefully, I won't, and nobody else I know will ever be where you sit. But none of us are guaranteed that. There, but how do you how do you get up every morning at this point?
Actually, I haven't had much sleep, so I haven't had to worry about getting up. But it's just, I've had friends and family close and near. Somebody's been with me, so that helps. But I know there's going to come a day when I have to be alone. And hopefully that's not anytime in the near future, but it's, I don't, I haven't had much sleep. I think I know. I know I'm truly still standing by the grace of God.
When Tuesday came, everybody's piling through, coming to see you and Clark and Glenn and Corey and everybody else. That's a situation no mother, no parent ever wants to be in, no, for
Mm-mm.
whatever reason.
No.
When, as how surreal was
It, honestly, I don't know if I remember very much. It's just I can't say that I do. I've made a lot of notes because I don't want to forget, you know. But you never know how somebody else is going to react when they hear news as tragic as this. So not only am I trying to take care of myself, but I have tried to comfort others. Because people, everybody that knows her, knew her in the past, family's friends, it's a lot of people. And everybody, you know, has reached out, and everybody loved her. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's hurting.
I met Megan, I think, maybe twice.
Yeah.
We're all hurt.
Yes.
Even if they didn't know Megan, they knew you, and we're hurting for you.
Right.
Does the outpour from friends, family, how much of a comfort is that at this point?
Very much. I think that's helped more than anything. I mean, it really has. There have been so many people to reach out. It shocked me. I've been humbled. I truly have been humbled by the messages, the card, just everybody that has reached out. The amount of people that have reached out. And yes, I mean, I wouldn't wish this on anyone else. And I know people that have gone through it. But I couldn't imagine, I couldn't imagine, or I never would have thought as many people that have reached out to us. I mean, it's just been hundreds of people.
The case, the investigation is ongoing. You've been receiving regular updates. 2 people arrested at this point. Not that it makes you feel good, but it now appears that they have at least some of the people responsible in custody. Does that give you a little bit of, I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is, it's not relief, but does that give you some sense of that at least justice for Megan is there?
It's on its way, maybe.
It's on its way.
You know, it is a relief to me, to some degree, because this is so heinous that just I would not want this to happen to anybody else. So, to some degree, it is a relief that they're off the streets and, you know, possibly maybe prevent it from happening again. But, you know, this is me, who I am, and, you know, I hurt for those because they have family, and I actually hurt for those mothers and those families because I know, I mean, they're in jail. I don't know if they're getting out. I don't know when they're getting out. But, I mean, I can only imagine. I can't imagine now. But, I mean, I hurt for those families. And I know that may sound, how can you hurt for those families? But I do. I guess just because that's, you know, who I am.
We've talked about the fact that, for the most part, this doesn't really seem real at this point. It wasn't real Tuesday. It's not real today. When do you think it will be? At what point will it finally sink in?
I think when I know, I think one of 2 things. When I'm finally alone for any long or length of time, long period of time, I worry about that. But I also feel like I want to know everything. And I think once I know everything that happened or that took place, wherever, whenever, I think then, as I don't believe she suffered, but, as a mother, I want to know everything. Some things I may not need to know, but I want to know. And I mean, maybe then I can move on. And I'm just not sure. It's so hard, because I have to still carry on business as usual because she has an 11-year-old sister that I think is hurting more than any of us. So when I'm upset, she's upset. And I can't just stop living life because I've got her. I think she keeps me going. I think she's been a large part of it.
Keeping you moving at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the next question. I mean, there's a 10 and a half year difference between Corey and Megan. They were obviously close.
Very.
Now I mean, you're saying she's kind of taking your lead at this point, but how does an 11-year-old function with this, knowing what happened?
I don't know. I mean, we're gonna have her because she has kept everything in. It's hard to get anything out. She's talked with us some, but we're gonna have her talk with somebody. But I can tell you this: since this has happened, she has not left Megan's room. She has slept in Megan's bed. She has listened to Megan's playlist on her computer, her songs, constantly. Pictures. She has gone through every single thing that is Megan's. And I think that helps her feel closer to her. At first I worried because I didn't want her alone and isolated. But I think in some ways it's helping. I really do.
I don't know the status of your relationship with Glenn at this point.
Good, yeah.
Is everything?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's not here, so I got to ask you. I mean, he's her daddy. I mean, I know how I think I would feel.
He's just...
I mean...
He is so angry. I mean, he's really angry. He's upset, but he's angry. And, I mean, he's just... Gosh, I mean, I just don't even know how to describe it. He's not taking calls. His family's with him. Family's going to continue to stay with him. I mean, he's devastated. He is just like that. I mean, he is just devastated, but he's wearing it on the outside right now, whereas I'm kind of keeping it in, It's a big difference.
You know, I mean, obviously, Corey's keeping you going at this point. Your family, your friends. You talked a couple minutes ago about being afraid of that first time you're alone. I mean, you know it's going to happen.
I know.
What are you afraid of when that happens?
That I'm just going to have to finally face the fact that she's not here anymore. And that she's not coming home. We won't see her again. We won't hear her again. I won't smell her, touch her. I just know it's just going to slap me in the face. I know those things now, but I try so hard not to think about them. And when I'm alone, you know, I think. My mind starts to wander. And it just is so painful that I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to think about it. I don't.
A lot of people in your position right now would be jumping, screaming, hollering, waving arms and weapons, angry. I mean, I know you're angry. On some level, you're angry. Everybody is angry.
Yes.
What do you want? I know you said that you hurt for the families of
Sure.
these two guys.
Sure.
But there are other people who know what went on the 18th into the 19th
Yes.
of this month.
Yes. I believe that.
They're still looking for they're still looking for information.
Sure.
What kind of message do you have to somebody who knows something that may help with this?
I mean, I would do the right thing. I would come forward, and I would ask anybody else that knows anything to come forward. I would not want another mother or another child or another human to hurt the way that myself and my family have been hurting. If I could help bring some sort of relief to that family, then I would come forward.
Why do you think this happened? I know you and I have talked about this a little bit, but why do you think this happened? For what reason?
Well, look, we all know God, I know God makes no mistakes. And whether I like the way that she was taken away from me or not, I know. I don't just believe it, I know it. It's not by chance. It was her time. Now, the circumstances leading up to her life being taken away, that part, you know, that's the part I have a problem with. But I know she's where she belongs. That's given me a lot of comfort. But the way that she was taken away from us, I mean, not only is she dead, but we couldn't see her one last time. We couldn't say goodbye to her one more time. There are people that haven't seen her in quite some time. They never get to see her again. You know, that, to me, it wasn't good enough that she was dead. I think that's what angers me the most. That you set her on fire. And she burned. So nobody could say goodbye. Nobody could see their family or their loved one one more time. I couldn't see my baby one more time. And that's why all these people out there, I know there are people that know things. Probably more than I would think. You know, and some of these, their sons or their brothers or they may even be fathers or aunts or uncles or mothers. These people need to come forward. They need to tell what they know. It's not, I mean, they do. They should. Do the right thing.
Do you have anything that you want to say to Mr. Childers and Mr. Fortune at this point?
I really don't. I mean, and I know some, they just think I'm just, like you said, they would be jumping up and down, screaming and angry. And I think the only way that I have remained this calm is because I know God makes no mistakes. I know that. you know. But I guess the only thing I would pray for him. But I mean, you know, I know. What do you say? What do you say to somebody like that? Really? There's nothing to say.